There it is, arguably the most cold hardy palm tree in the world, the needle palm. Rhapidophyllum hystrix. I usually say Rhapidophyllum, but it's a double L, so it should be Rhapidophyllum hystrix, native to the southeast of the USA. And there's a whole whack load of them in here. Very similar conditions to what they would, or where they would be found growing. So these, I personally think, look the best in part shade to shade. You get a little bit more stretched in the sun. They have a more of a compact form, and they're not quite as green. So this is a clumping palm. It has pups or suckers off of it all over the place. Relatively slow growing. Not terrible, but if you live in a hot, humid place, it's going to do better for you. They like water too. So Rhapidophyllum hystrix, I won't even attempt to even guess as to how cold people have claimed that these have tolerated, but this is usually up there, number one. I personally don't think it's the most cold hardy palm. I think it's the second most cold hardy palm. I think Sable Minor is the most cold hardy, but you're kind of splitting hairs at this point. So zone 6, people in zone 6, this is often their gateway drug into palms. So what can I tell you about these? Well, one, I think they look better in shade. Two, they do like water. However, they are quite drought tolerant. These are quite adaptable plants. So when these flower, they tend to be male or female plants, and very poor pollination rates. The seeds, if you collect them, they're big and hard. They have a really hard outer shell, low germination. So this is a plant that is probably, in a way, in the wild, going extinct on its own. If you look around, you're not going to find seedlings. It's just, they just don't do well. And the theory behind that is that these were the animal that spread the seed, or the animals that spread the seed were part of the megafauna. So the very large mammals that are now extinct, possibly big ground dwelling sloths, that sort of thing, that can eat the seeds, crack them open. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone should at least have one. I actually really like this palm. I know it's not common to find to buy, but palm growing in tropical garden enthusiasts, cold hardy tropicals tend to grow these. And it does look very similar to like a lady palm, like a rhaphis, and they are closely related. A rhaphis tends to have a lot of small trunks, whereas they're like big, thick honking things. The reason it's called needle palm is because it has very sharp porcupine-like quills at the base of the plant. You're probably not going to be able to see it. I can see some, and I'm not sticking my hands in there. So this is quite a big one. It's about 7 feet tall and probably bigger than that around. I dropped my glasses over here. Here's a smaller one. And so, because these ones aren't crowded, they're growing all quite nice, very symmetrical. But when we get in here, it's just a mass of thick, kind of bulbous trunks. A little bit hard to see with all these pine needles in here. But really amazing. They look good. Really, really look good underplanted amongst other trees and palms. You can see how they've done it in here. This is an area that floods. You can see we've had some rain, and so they can tolerate that. We have some bigger ones over here. This is just a beautiful stand of them. I mean, if I were to guess how many are back in here, I would say close to 2 dozen. See if we can walk a little bit further here. Some more there. I'm looking to see if I see any seeds, and I don't. Now, I had a female one back in Oregon, and it would produce seeds, but they were never pollinated, so they were just kind of dead. You would think with this many, you might have a chance. You can see how dark green these ones are in the shade. Well, there you go, guys. Mature needle palms, Rhapidophyllum hystrix.